Burned out, overworked, and underpaid. 90% of our teachers are tired and they're frustrated between oversized classrooms and state mandates. It's been too much.
In fact, more than 500,000 educators left the field post the pandemic, leading to massive teacher shortages. I spoke to a teacher who's had her glasses knocked off her face, another who was shoved to the floor, and one who had a can thrown at her face. It is leading to frustration so overwhelming that more educators are leaving faster than they can be hired right now.
Chaos in the classroom, in the hallways, at school. Fights between students and teachers, even caught on camera, are escalating.
Fights in high schools, a lot of fights in middle school, some in the elementary schools.
Educators are faced with students cursing, yelling, spitting. And that's not even the half of it.
So teachers are dealing with having to be a security officer with the fights in the classroom. They have the hunger issues, just rebellious, chronic absenteeism, testing, over-testing.
President of United Education Association, Danette Stokes, says out-of-control students really started climbing after the pandemic. Let's compare last year to the fall of 2019. Around 70% of teachers and administrators polled say students have become disruptive and aggressive since the pandemic. Now factor in educators who are battling students who are truant, constantly tardy, violent, even dealing with homelessness. Stokes says because there are fewer teachers, educators are responsible for teaching larger class sizes or pick up another teacher's classroom. It is problematic and continues to contribute to teachers who are quitting or transferring.
They're leaving because of the workload and the salaries and the benefits.
The National Education Association shows teacher pay has failed to keep up with inflation for more than a decade. Looking at each Mid-South state, Arkansas teachers make around $53,000 a year. In Tennessee, it's also about $53,000. And in Mississippi, it's $48,000. All those pay averages are among the lowest in the country when it comes to educating your children and our future generations. Pay is the number one reason teachers are leaving the field, according to a poll of teachers conducted last year. 48% named compensation as the top factor driving them to quit. 42% have already left for this reason. Unreasonable expectations, personal well-being, and a lack of leadership were also major factors for teachers leaving the business.
Well, right now, a lot of testing. We're having to test requirements from the state, and we don't have a lot of time to teach.
Teachers are known for often being empathetic, creative, and focused on the growth and success of their students. But to cultivate this type of learning environment takes money, which is why most teachers spend hundreds of dollars of their own money to invest in their students.
Food, socks, shoes. I've personally taken some of my elementary kids to the store to get their feet sized because they need shoes.
Stokes says it becomes challenging when students are dealing with mental health issues, what's happening at home, crime in their neighborhood, if there's food in the house, or if there are any adults at home.
And then when the high school children are raising the elementary kids, then it's that disconnect of really being disciplined and knowing how to behave.
Pressure, stress, long hours, discipline issues. Something has got to give. Salary, support, and trust for our teachers at some point must become a priority for future educators to stay, make a difference, and not want to pack up and leave.
And teacher burnout, it just continues to grow. In fact, the reliance on now uncertified teachers has really ballooned over the last decade. Many schools across our country are forced to hire applicants without any teacher training to trying to fill those open positions. A report shows recently by the year 2030, as many as 16 million K through 12 students across the country will be taught by a teacher who is unprepared, inexperienced, or a teacher in a field that they're not even certified in. This is the direction that it's heading for our educators right now.
And these are the people that we entrust with not only the future of my child, but your child, everybody's child, and everybody's child impacts all of our future. Now, I don't know a single teacher. My mother was in education for more than 35 years. I've never met a teacher who said, you know, I became an educator to get rich. By the same token, given the fact that these people are given this precious gift and said, hey, I'm giving you my child for 40 plus hours a week, please entrust that future. They deserve more than they're getting, a lot more than they're getting, not just in the pay raise, but in the credit department as well. And I don't blame them for leaving in droves if they have opportunity. Until that changes, something has to change systemically.
Because teachers don't just teach anymore. I remember being a child. No. The teacher, that was their only responsibility, the only role. They simply had to teach. Now they have to be the security guard and the counselor and the therapist and the nurse and the person that buys clothing and school supplies and so much more. And then they're dealing with so many other pressures that are happening every single day. I talked to one teacher who made it very clear, I'm not going to be responsible for now having to carry a gun. That was another issue that continues to be piled up on our teachers right now. And the many that I spoke to at this point say it's just too much.
And for the belligerent parents out there,
that
you know who I'm talking to?
That was another issue.
Lay off or do better.
Yeah. Have a conversation. Figure out what's going on with your child instead of blaming the teacher.
Great report, Darcy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Andrew.